Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Vose, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. Hope you guys are having a great day. Happy New Year. Told you guys last time we talked, I'd talk to you next year. Ta-da! And here we are. Man, time flies when you're having fun. But hey, I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope Monday's off to a good start for you. Hope your weather's good. I know ours, we got a pretty decent little run of weather this week. So it looks like we're finally going to be able to get out and do a little bit of work this week. We're looking forward to that. Absolutely. I know we are. So, hey, we would like that snow too, but hey, snow's great. Ain't matter of fact, this time last year, today I think it was today we actually started into with about a 10 or 11-inch winter storm that got the winter rocking and rolling pretty good for us. So yeah, a difference a year makes from that standpoint. But yeah, we had a little bit of snow. I was going to say our snow. Hopefully, it's not over, but early on in December. So that was good. And between cold and holidays and rain and snow on the ground, didn't get to do a whole lot the rest of December. But hey, we're off on a new start. And like I said, here we are, January 5th in Louisville, Kentucky. Temperatures this morning around, I don't know, 30 degrees probably about now. And I think we're going up in the mid 50s somewhere before today and tomorrow and Wednesday. And then front coming through later this week. Maybe I'll get my buddy Matt or Brett on with Bam Weather Wednesday with us, see what's going on. But it looks like we're going to cool down a little bit towards Saturday, and then some code snapshots or whatever you want to call them coming our way for a little bit later, mid January and beyond. So we're looking forward to that. And all things considered, it's all good, all good. So again, hope everything's good for you guys. Hope you had a great break in between holidays, leading up to Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is, or all those that you may have participated in. And then also, the New Year's. It's hard keeping the days straight, ain't it? It is. It's a challenge keeping the days straight at this time of the year, to say the least. But you did it. You did it. And I think Craig was telling me that he actually was on vacation a little while. So, Craig, if you're listening to us this morning, welcome back. If you're back, and if you're still on vacation, more power to you, buddy. More power to you. Katie had a little Christmas get together yesterday with their friends, and went and played a little bingo, and then did a gift exchange. And one of them actually won at the bingo. So, yeehaw! She didn't win a ton of money, but I think it's like $100 game, and happened to be four of them on it. So, $25 no holla. So I mean that pays your way in. Like we were talking about, man. It's just fun to holler bingo. I mean that's. I don't remember the last time I won. I don't go all the time though, but I used to go pretty frequently with my mom growing up. That's when you could go. They didn't have the age bracket on it. I don't know if it's 18 or 21. What it is now, but I gotta, yeah, okay. Katie said she thinks it's 18, but yeah, hell, I remember going as a youngster, man, and playing with my mom at the Moose Lodge. And some of you guys may be familiar with that. There's quite a few of those across the country. So yeah, that's a fraternal organization across the country, and I'm not sure if that's international or not. So we'll see. We'll see on that. But anyways, we have a QO audio. Huh. We'll see what that's all about. We'll see if they leave a message or who that might be buzzing in here. Yeah, we'll see what that's all about. We'll see what that's all about for sure. But hey, appreciate you guys being with me this morning. Looking forward to a good show. Eric and Jennifer had a good show this morning. Daniel, outstanding show as always. And here we are up to me with Profit Time. So looking forward to your all's interaction. We got a good product lineup today on what we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, I'd be curious to what you guys got going on. Yes, Stephen West. I am on the radio. So he's asking if we're on. Yes, we are. And matter of fact, Katie or Daniel, would y'all give us a radio check? You were fine, Daniel. I just want to make sure we're good. Um, but Steven said he's got nothing on his end. So I don't know if that means our transmission or he doesn't have anything to do today. So not sure, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on. But I think we're modulation's good here on our end. So we'll see. All right. Katie says we're good. So Katie, thanks. Hey, thanks, man. Hey, how you like my sign? Guy got me. You still got what? Oh, yeah. So Matt got me a sign. We did a gift exchange, and it got me an on-air sign that I put on my window. So and it's really cool, man. In the dark, it's really neat, man. Yeah, shows up really good, really good. Oh, but yeah, we're out trying to get a little lime done today and a little fertilizer done today, and see how it works out. And some warmer temperatures, some nicer temperatures, and kind of good to get back in the swing of things again. I'll tell you that. And not that we don't enjoy the time off, because we did. We really got to enjoy some time off with our team. Our team got to have some time off as well. So that was really cool. That was really cool. Um, I hear you, Mike. Mike said it's hard trying to remember that today's Monday. Yeah, it's time to get our days back in order. So, yeah, Daniel, it's kind of confusing when you come back off a break.
Yeah.
When you got those Wednesdays and Thursday holidays and whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
but
like especially from fitness perspective, if you can even just do a little bit to stay on track, it can definitely be helpful for when you do get fully back on track. You're not just starting from scratch. And I think maybe the same can be true within your business too. It's
yeah,
like even like as I think it was Craig you were talking about who was on vacation but they were doing just a little bit of updates on what their policies or something like that they were doing.
yeah. He was working on his policy
The
and
handbook.
procedures handbook. Yeah,
Yeah. So like not that you want to just like never take a break, but sometimes even just doing a little bit, 10, 20, 30 minutes of something per day can make a big difference when you get back into the full swing of it. It's not something you're just completely out of the habit of and like dreading
yeah.
sometimes.
We're actually going to talk a little bit about that today on my notes about uh, goals a little bit, but a different look at goals, not just the traditional goals, if you will. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But had a good weekend. Went out with some friends Saturday night, and I mean we did a lot of different things. During our time off, but actually came in here Friday for a little bit and did a little bit of work, and it was nice because it was really quiet. Um, that is true, Mike. Mike said it's a holiday hangover.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I need to fast a day or two to reset my body from all the finger foods he's consumed the last 2 weeks. How,
Probably not a
how
bad idea.
legit's that? I mean, is
I
that,
mean, I don't know if fasting is your thing, but certainly like hitting something kind of hard to kind of do a reset, if you will, can, in my experience, definitely be helpful.
be helpful on, yeah, getting
Just
your,
like because all the fried foods and the greasiness and the sugar and the just kind of trying to get going maybe a little bit harder than you typically would do just for a few days can help your body feel a little bit better in my experience.
yeah, I hear you. And that is it. I mean, you do kind of, not kind of, and some people probably stay on track, but most of the time when you're going somewhere, and I will say Saturday, I mean, I'm just speaking for one day out of this whole adventure of we've been off, but Saturday, when we all got together, we didn't have anything, which was unusual, um, for us, just sit around finger food, food kind of thing. But we'd all went out, tried to go out to eat, and we went to this place in Bardstown. I'll share this with you all. And I'm not throwing Bardstown under the bus with this. I swear I'm not. But I'm kind of. They got this Talbert Tavern that's listed on the historical thing, I think, and which and it's an inn. You can stay there, and just a lot of history there. I mean, it's 100+ years old, I think, and all. But and Nelson County, where it's located, is the bourbon capital of the world. So I got ordered an old fashioned. For you guys that drink bourbon, you know what that is. They come different flavored wise, what you're going to put in it. But generally, anyone I've had anywhere has always had like a large ice cube in it, not a cup of ice, but one large ice cube. And I'm sure that's probably how the drink's intended, for the slow melt is what it's about. But anyways, and they even sold shirts at this place said the oldest bar in the country or something. And you would think that the bourbon capital of the world, at the oldest bar in the country, would have bourbon figured out in a drink format. But however, as we look back on it, they did not. It was and it wasn't like it was cheap. It was like $19, Daniel, for that one drink. And I don't bitch about what you pay for something, but you would think for $19 a drink you'd get a decent drink, whatever it is, whatever you like. Hell, but
Yeah, they definitely needed some bar rescue.
they need a bar rescue. They need a restaurant rescue. But like we all said, man, it was a fun time for a bunch of us. I think there were like 9 of us there. That Daniel and Caitlin and Timmy and Robin and Saber and Bill and Charlie, and went down there, and it was just good camaraderie. Really, none of us cared that about any of it being jacked up. I mean, because they all live there in Nelson County and Bardstown, and don't go there very often. That's why, evidently. But I know Timmy joked about it and said he didn't. He said, "Oh my God, I hadn't been there in a long time. Last time it was not good." But hey, if you're a tourist and you go, the experience will be worth going. Let me just say that, just because it's a pretty neat place. But don't order. Daniel said, "Nah, just don't order menu food." Is that fair? Maybe
I think it's fair. Going to the bar or going to the
experience of the place.
Live music, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, go for the experience of the place and not the food, because there's a whole lot of eateries right around them that are local. Right there, they're on like a little main street kind of thing, and but yeah, we had a good time with that. But getting back on a more serious note here, let's see what Mike sent us here. Mike said it's easy to overeat when everything is bite sized. LOL. I'd eat 3 sausage and cheese biscuits, but I'd eat 20 sausage balls.
True.
That,
Something to that.
damn, that's a mindset game, isn't it? Definitely consume more than a few old fashions over Christmas. LOL. Round solid ice cube. Absolutely, man. So, anyways, hey, but you know what, Mike, I'm glad you enjoyed your old fashions, and I bought an old fashioned kit back, I don't know, in November or October or something, and actually Kyle got me some Woodford Reserve, and it had some old fashioned bitters in it to make the drink. So we'll have to make one at home. So, but yeah, I was surprised when I got one that wasn't too good at the bourbon capital of the world. Then from the oldest restaurant, or the oldest bar. So, anyways, so what are you guys doing this week? That's the real question. You out and about, or you got snow, you got rain, or you got everything caught up? I know I've been seeing a lot of things, on social media content, guys talking about, leaves and finally getting around to doing some cleanups. I know we got several on the books to do. We'll see. We'll reach out and see if they're still doable or been done by somebody. They were call in work, and we've tried to keep them abreast prior to the holiday last week, of where we were at schedule wise and why we weren't there. And, that's one reason why I'm a little bit leery sometimes, Daniel, about taking on call in work, especially when they call you in, say, October. Hey, put us on for first week of December or second week of December. You just don't know what the weather's going to be. And then you become the guy that didn't show up. And we pride ourselves on showing up, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like I said, we talk about setting goals, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we've actually set a goal for next year that we're going to want to have things wrapped up. And I talked about this, or we did, Daniel. I don't know, last week or week 4 on the show a little bit about setting 12/1, December 1st of each year as our date to, have things completed application wise. And because I know that's just what we're going to shoot for. And we may or may not be able to do that. Who knows? We'll find out. But we're going to certainly make a change because the last few years we've had something that's prohibited us weather-wise, generally snow. We've had earlier snow than normal. So I don't know. Maybe that's our new norm, and it's time for us to adjust our business model around that a little bit. But got my first holiday lighting sale for the year on Saturday while cleaning the client's gutters and roof. There you go. Damn, that's good. There you go, man. Hey, the first one's the hard one. We joke about that a lot and always say that the first one's always the hardest one. So, congratulations on that, my friend. Absolutely. So, hey, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more profit time, and we're going to dive into our show and talk a little bit about my story of the day that is relevant to a whole lot of us, and also talk a little bit about pricing, and we're going to talk a little bit about goals. So you guys stay right where you're at. We'll be right back with more profit time here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. I did want to talk a little bit about ice melters for just a few minutes here today, and it's getting bad in parts of the country. In some parts of the country, guys are saying, "Hey, man, no problem at all." But the reality of it is, I was talking to a gentleman in Minnesota, and he was talking about the state of Minnesota has actually shut down the ports for salt to contractors, and that's happened here in Louisville quite a bit actually in past years. To where they're just holding it for the municipalities, and even though I know it's like us here, man. Our municipality, they store it's an unbelievable amount of material underground that is strictly emergency use. They shut our ports off too. Here, they're not shut off right now, as far as I know. I haven't tried to buy any ice melter because we're capacity on what we can hold um, right here, but that's because we were buying early and getting it delivered, and getting it delivered from pretty far distances in some cases to get it. But what we knew is, and what we talked about here on the radio was, and that was part of what I tried to do was warn some of you guys early on that, hey, this was the message back in August and September that, it's not really a supply problem. It's more of potentially a problem of people getting a little bit greedy and wanting to bring the pricing up. So I don't know. I'm not here to decide that end of it. But what I needed to do was try to manage my business the most efficiently that I could and make sure that we had material on hand if we needed it. And we've done all we can do. Like I said, I don't know. This may be the first year that we were actually filled to capacity, um, where we were literally couldn't take another truckload of material here until we get out, and hopefully that comes around sooner rather than later. So maybe around the 15th, somewhere in that ballpark. Looks like we might have a shot of some snow, so we'll see. And But I did want to bring that up, that I know Minnesota guys are having a big problem. Michigan guys are having a big problem. And some of the problem, and let me say this, some of the problem is they just don't want to pay more for it. And I get that. I'm not minimizing that at all, Daniel. And I know it came out that way, but sometimes, I mean, supply and demand is what runs our economic system, right? I mean, and you know, you got to protect yourself in your contracts on material cost, and a lot of guys don't. And hey, you want to write a 3 or 5 year deal, that's fine with somebody. I understand that completely. If you want to write a 3 year or 5 year or 4 year, whatever term of a seasonal contract you may want to write with somebody, but also included in that verbiage needs to be ice melter ability to change pricing. That's just the way it is. I mean, but until you gain the confidence to know that you can do that, um, and if you run into a customer that won't allow that, then that's a choice that you got to make and you got to live with. So when your pricing goes up 30% or 40% or 60, whatever it goes up, that's why you guys, you got to think about what you're doing and what kind of contracts you're writing, and and what are you really positioning yourself to do? Because it can get really bad really fast, not only from a supply standpoint, but and a pricing standpoint. But what the hell happens if you run out? I mean, is that covered in your service contract? So those are a lot of little things that are major impacts on what we do as snow and ice management contractors. We're not selling ice melter. We're not selling snow plowing. We're not selling snow removal. We're not selling snow plowing. What are we selling? We're really selling risk management for our customers. That's what we're selling. And once you understand that, then you understand how certain things within your business model have to be written to maintain the safety that needs to be there, that safety net of risk management. So until you buy into that whole concept yourself, and again, I don't want anybody to take this personally, but I do want you to take it personally to a certain extent, that it's up to you to have a business model in place that allows you the opportunity to be a risk manager for your customers that you've put on into your snow and ice management business. And until you understand that, hey, we're not a plowing service, we're not a de-icing service, we're not a anti-icing service, we're a risk management service is what we sell, then you understand how to properly write your contracts. And how do we prepare ourselves for material for different scenarios that may play out, whether it's a light year or if it's a heavy year with snow and ice. And I think that's where all of us need to become better managers. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a fair way of saying it. We all need to become better managers because we owe it to our customers to be able to provide the service at the level in which they expect. Now, does that mean that you may not ever run into an issue regardless of how the contract's written? No, you could still have some problems. But what you want to be sure to do is position yourself to where you've tried to mitigate as many of those circumstances down through either a supply chain of distributors, um, verbiage within your contract, application and material rates. I know that's why a lot of guys now are saying, man, we're glad we went to liquids. It takes less, actual material. We're making our brine. We're spraying brine. We can make our material go further. All of those become BMPs as a way to run your business. And that's something that I think we all need to think a little bit harder about is, how do we implement these best management practices that allow us to position our companies to be different and better than our competitors, number one, but be different and better with a business model that we can explain to our potential customers as to why we do what we do the way we do it. And where we're not focusing in, where the main focus is not quantity of accounts or acres serviced or lane miles serviced, but the important factor should be the type of customer we want to service and service a limited number of those customers, be the true risk manager that they hire you to be, and know that the most profitable thing, and this is nothing profound that I'm getting ready to say, but it is reality. Know that the most profitable thing you say to a potential customer sometimes or a existing client is no. Sometimes, and it took me a long time to figure that out, that no is one of the most profitable words we can put out there, because it's not that we want to overcharge anybody or we want to undercharge anybody. We just want to be able to provide good risk management services as it relates to snow and ice management for our customers. And the only way that we can do that efficiently and effectively is affordably is to have a better plan in place. And because when it boils down to it, once we understand that we're risk managers, well, how do we mitigate risk is response time and type of material that we're applying and number of vehicles or equipment that we have that we can assign to a facility or to a route or, based on your company size. It's the verbiage may be different on that. It's not always going to be more equipment. Maybe it's a better route. Maybe it's a smaller route. But we got to think about, hey, hey, I'm gonna set a route up that is, and then I'm just going to be really inexpensive on my service and my ice melter to get as much work as I can. You know, the reality of it is, and Mike made a good point on his text here, and I'm make sure I read it properly, but he makes a really good point here that says, let's see, you lose more money with a pen than a shovel or a snowplow. That's right. You know, he said he doesn't do snows, but with leaf season this year, I've said no to a lot of people wanting me to suck stuff up for $30. And we think of that, Daniel.
Very well said.
Very well said, right on target. I'll leave my stuff sit in the shop before we send it out for nothing. And when it comes to snow, it'll sit in the shop before we send it out if it's not the return on investment is not the best thing that we offer. Our snow and ice service is second to none. And I'm going to knock on wood and say this, and you guys can believe it if you want. I really don't care. But I'm telling you, it's honest to God's truth. And y'all have heard me, and I'll do my own rebuttal to this after I say what I'm going to say. We have never, in all the years we've been doing snow, lost the snow account over service. Now, it'll happen someday. Because y'all have heard me talk about that in that story I had with my dad that year when I told him we retained 100% of our customers. And he said, that's great, Wayne, you just don't have enough customers. But I'm here to tell you, we've got our fair share of customers. But what we do with snow and ice management is we have very tight routes. We've got very few hours assigned to each piece of each contract, let's call it, okay, or each stop however you want to look at it, whether it's a commercial facility, subdivision, whatever it is, we don't overschedule the work for that particular route. So you can still build a really nice business, nice size company, but still give extraordinary service. It takes more people to make it happen. So now, does that mean that, hey, well, I'm a one truck operation or I'm a two truck operation? Does that mean I can't do that? No, absolutely not. Yes, you can do that. You know, you do it in a smaller scale way. I mean, hey, instead of having these guys that get on and say, hey, it took me 18 hours to run my route. That's the problem. It's not the customer's fault that you got too much work. It's your fault for scheduling 18 hours of work. That's whose fault it is. Charge more for the service, sell the service, sell the risk management side of it by reducing the hours in between visits. And that's where a lot of snow contractors go wrong. I will say we're getting better at it as an industry, a lot of us, understanding the fact that what we're really selling is risk management. And the way we sell risk management is to schedule less hours of service per route, because then we can get back around faster to those accounts and give them what they want. And that's a safer property, not a clear property. Because again, you're not going to find the word clear in our contract when it comes to snow and ice management. It's not in there, because I cannot guarantee a clear product or a clear property. What I can guarantee to somebody is a set number of hours in a response time, a set number of hours for a return visit, and customary and ordinary effort based on industry to accomplish the goal of a safe property, not a clear property, but a safe property. Now, that is a broad definition of its own. Okay. That is a very broad definition of its own, the word safe. But what we basically are telling our customers in writing is we can't guarantee a clear property, but we can guarantee response time to your property and then the return visit response time to your property if it's an ongoing event. So, yes, do we have events that turn into 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours, whatever? Absolutely. Absolutely we do. But that's what you got to think about with your business, and not just the snow and ice management side, but that's what we're talking about now is what are we really selling? We're selling service, risk management and service when it comes to snow and ice. And that's how we understand how we're going to be different and better than our competitor. With that being said, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. 2026 is going to be rolling around, and you're out selling new work or you've got your existing work. And I'm looking forward to working with a gentleman here coming up here shortly. Somebody just came on with us, some Profits Unlimited, that we're doing some consulting with and helping him get his price structure where it needs to be. And heck, he might not even be too far off. He might not be off at all. But what he decided he wanted to know was where he needed to be. And I think that's the important thing, don't you? Just turning that light on that for yourself that says, hey, this is where I know I need to be.
Not just knowing today, but also having the accurate method to then knowing how to know tomorrow.
Right. That's it. The methodology. That's it. So I'm looking forward to helping him with that and getting that figured out for him and his company so he knows, hey, that his pricing is okay. And that's something I want you guys to look at and ask yourself, hey, is my pricing okay for 2026? Do I need to have an increase, or, is everything okay? Or what should that increase look like? And, there's really no way to tell unless you understand the methodology to calculate your cost per hour. And nothing within that methodology is, well, that's what my competition's charging, or that's what my customer's willing to pay. You know, the real way is, hey, what's your overhead? What's your use rates? What's your desired profit margin? And do you fit in that market? Maybe you don't fit based on your overhead, your use rates, your desired profit margins. So now we got to figure out, okay, how do we fit? Am I going after the wrong clientele? Can I change lanes and go to a different clientele? Or do I change lanes by sitting down and figuring out, hey, what's it really cost me to provide my service, number one, regardless of the size of my company? Because the break even point is going to be different for everybody. But when you look at 2026 pricing, ask yourself, do I really have a methodology in place to let me know that, other than, well, I look at my bank account and sometimes I got money in it, sometimes I don't, and at the end of the year it seems to always work out. Well, that's a very crude way of doing it, but I mean, hey, if it works, it works, but now let's do something differently. Let's let this year be different. Um, because once you really understand why you charge what you charge, and whether you've been in business 1 year, 10 years, or 100 years, the peace of mind that you gain from understanding that side of your business, all of a sudden it makes sense when you don't take on account, or that, hey, no, I can't do that. You stop taking those, well, maybe I'll do okay with that if I sell them this, or if this happens, or if that happens. We got to take the what ifs out of the scenarios and say, hey, what does it cost me? What do I want to make? And who's the customer that can afford that? And then go after and try to attract that customer. But until it goes back to something simple as, you don't know what you don't know. And the first thing it starts off with is, are you taking your time on jobs? Look, and for this, I'm talking about your existing accounts, because your existing accounts are the most important accounts you got, because those are the ones that you're already got your investment in, right? I mean, those are the people that you're already sending trucks to, you're already sending material to, you already have time involved. So, hey, let's figure out what that number needs to be. Then let's look at our existing customer base first. And I hope that makes sense to everybody. Because a lot of guys say, man, I'm getting ready to bid this job and I want to make sure my numbers are good. Well, okay, that is very important, no doubt about it. Or now you just got somebody else added into the pool of customers that you're not sure about. But first and foremost, when you set a methodology in play for your company, such as, our know why you charge what you charge spreadsheets, and you determine your break even point, the first place you look is your existing customer base. Because what do we know about our existing customers? We know the two most important things, and that is how long they take and how much they pay. That's what we know about our existing customers. Now, we can be really good at bidding jobs, right? And say, well, I know I'm pretty close, or I know this, or I know that on this job I'm bidding and trying to get. Yeah, but that job that's already your customer, you know for sure how much they pay and how long they take. So when you do sit down and you figure out cost for your service, you know who's okay, who's not okay, and you fix them first. And what you'll find out is a lot of them are probably okay. You know, some of them might need some adjustment, but some of them are probably going to be okay. But to the Fred's point, and man, you're right where I'm at. The math doesn't lie. That's one good thing about math, is it doesn't lie. You know, if I'm in a market using a certain brand lawnmower, let's say, and I've got 20 cuts a year, somebody buys that same lawnmower in a market that's got 46 weeks a year, or 30 weeks a year, or 35 weeks a year, or 28 weeks a year, the cost to use that equipment is different based on the use rates. So that's why if you've got anything in play that's helping you determine cost per hour of operation for your company, or do I need to have an increase in pricing for 2026, you've got to understand that cost, use rates, additional overhead, desired profit margin are the things you need to think about. And until those become priority one, then you really don't have focus in on the purpose of your business, and that is to make a profit. That is the bottom line purpose. It's not to make people happy. It's not because you like doing landscaping or you like doing lighting or you might like making beautiful lawns for people. No, the first and foremost purpose is to make a profit. That should be why each and every one of us are doing what we're doing. And then we pick out a method to achieve the purpose. And what I mean by that is, hey, yeah, I really enjoy mowing grass, or I really enjoy doing landscape lighting, or I really enjoy this, or whatever it is that you enjoy doing is fine. Now let's figure out, hey, what's it going to cost me to go out and provide that service for X number of people? And that's when you become a better business person. That's when you gain the confidence to go out and bid a job based on what you know you need to have, and you don't care what Wayne's charging or Daniel's charging or Katie's charging or any of your competitors are charging, because you know what you have to make. I recently went out and purchased a new Expedition. Now, that same Expedition costs a different amount at different dealers. That's the reality of it. Now, I share that as an example here for this reason. Different equipment that you're going to buy, or different trucks you're going to buy, or different whatever it is you're buying, it doesn't matter what it is. Different places are going to sell an Expedition, a lawnmower, a Z spray, a salt spreader. Even though the model's the same, that's being sold maybe at different locations, the other things that that particular dealer, whether it's an equipment dealer or a car lot, doesn't matter, such as their additional overhead and their desired profit margins, are going to affect the price of what is being bought. And for you guys out there that say, well, I don't have any overhead, I'm a one truck operation, I'm operating out of my home, that's not quite right. I want you to think a little differently about that. And I don't want to address this whole conversation to that mindset, but that is the mindset that sets a person up for failure. That mindset sets you up for failure because, guy says, well, I've got another job. I'm only mowing 40 lawns a week on the side. So I really got to cover the cost of my lawnmower, my fuel, and my maintenance. Well, no, you got a truck. Who's paying a truck payment? Well, I'm paying my truck payment out of my money from my other job. Well, it's still job cost that should be assigned to those lawns that you're mowing. So now you're artificially low. And because you're pulling those lawnmowers around and you're using that truck more often, what are you going to do? You're going to have to replace it more often. So if you really if you want to trick yourself into thinking you're doing better than what you're doing, keep doing it the same way. But if you really want to know, hey, this is what I need to charge, and what should I charge for 2026 or moving forward, 2027 or whatever that year may be in the future, The only way you can do that is, regardless of the size of your company, include all your expenses, all your overhead, and what is your desired profit margin for your time and effort. That's how we're going to come up with our 2026 pricing. And when we decide, this guy must be a joke. I just got to share this with you guys. Talking about pricing, my God. See, here's somebody that thinks we're hungry. This guy just asked, we got a salt spreader out there. And he says, man, will you take $2,500 today? We got it listed for $3,400. No, I'm not standing out there with a sign that says, you know, hey, somebody buy this salt spreader. It says exactly what I'm talking about. This mindset. And I don't know, Ryan, shit, you might be listening to us right now. I don't know. If you are, no, we're not starving to death. And no, we're not taking $2,500 for a spreader that's worth $3,400. But this, and I swear I'm telling the truth, ain't it, Daniel? It's literally just popped through on my phone through Marketplace on this spreader we got available. We got a nice Snow X 8500 VMAX spreader, works perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. Been stored inside. The only thing we're selling it for, and this is another thing. Everybody thinks you're selling something because you're getting rid of a piece of shit. No, we're selling something because we had to buy some equipment, so we bought a couple new spreaders before the first of the year. So we put those on our equipment, and we've got what came off available for sale at a good price, a fair price for the condition they're in and the type of product they are. But this is a classic example of somebody thinking, hey, this is the same person that's going to say, hey, man, I'll do the, okay, Miss Smith, I want $50 to do your lawn. And she says, well, will you take 45? And you say, okay. That's what my show is all about, is trying to get past that mindset. So no, we're going to tell it, no, we're not taking $2,500 for it today or tomorrow. This thing will sit right here. I'll set it on fire. I'll throw it in a dumpster before we lose money on it. I'm not giving it away. And I think that's what we all need to start thinking about our businesses, is stop giving your service away. And man, we're running out of time, unfortunately. We're not done talking about this. We're going to talk about pricing for 2026 more on Wednesday. We really are. We're coming, because I didn't get nearly where I wanted to get on that. But Fred and Mike, appreciate you guys shooting your texts in. Steven, all you guys that text me, I know I missed some people, but I appreciate y'all's input on this. But, first and foremost, as we wrap our show up today, let's look at it this way. And that's the way we're going to wrap it up today. Number one is, the most important thing you will ever do for your business is to understand the purpose, and that is to make a profit. And from there, you can lay a foundation and a business model down that allows that to take place. It's up to you. You're the owner. You can do anything you want. That's the nice thing about being the owner. But don't be the dumb owner that Wayne Vose was for 9 years, where I was trying to compete with everybody, be everything to everybody, instead of being something to somebody and selling what I really needed to be selling. And for snow and ice management, that was risk management and service, and selling service for everything else that we offer. And some of our other service include risk management other than snow, right? We'll get into that on another day. But hey, glad you guys had a great holiday. If you didn't, I hope you're having a better day today. Appreciate y'all tuning in to Turfs Up Radio. Stay tuned all day long to Turfs Up Radio. And remember, profit is not a dirty word. We'll see you on Wednesday.